I'll get back to Mr. Cronkite in a minute, but first let me mention what we're celebrating today. First, perhaps you noticed on your way here a certain newish building just north of us. It is the Below Center for New Media, and we'll be moving into it in July of this year. The three-building Jesse Jones Communication Complex that surrounds you today was originally built to handle 1,000 majors. We now have 4,500 of them. Trust me, people are getting edgy. When I began raising money for the Below Center, I told folks that such a building would be transformational. Indeed it will. It'll give us 120,000 more square feet of offices, classrooms, and studios. I invite all of you to join us across the street at 5 p.m. on November 1st, 2012 for the formal dedication of that building. And there's a second reason to celebrate today. We are now in the planning stages of refurbishing the building to your left, the CMA building, and we hope to begin that renovation in August of this year. The renovation is designed to make the building more functional and attractive, and especially to restore the openness and sense of community envisioned by the noted Texas architect, O'Neill Ford, the modernist who designed the complex in the early 1970s. The refurbished building will house the departments of Communication Studies, Communication Science and Disorders, and Radio, Television, and Film, and everything I've seen in the plans thus far indicate that the new CMA will be a knockout. This refurbishing project and construction of the Below Center are being overseen by a wonderful group of architects, the Lawrence Group, headed up by my good friend, Mr. Earl Swisher. Happily, we'll also retain the services of the Flintco Construction Company, the folks who have done such a wonderful job on the Below Center. Our third celebration will happen this evening at 8:30 p.m., and you're all invited back. When you come, you'll see the unveiling of what promises to be a spectacular piece of public art by the renowned artist, Mr. Ben Rubin. Mr. Rubin's work is included in the collections of the Art Institute of Chicago, the San Jose Museum of Art, and the Science Museum of London. It has been shown at the Whitney and many other places as well. He has created large-scale public artworks for the Minneapolis Public Library, the Public Theater in New York, and especially important to this audience, the headquarters building of the New York Times. Mr. Rubin's work is part of this university's Landmarks Project, an imaginative attempt to bring distinguished public art to the UT campus. The piece Mr. Rubin has crafted for us is entitled, "And That's the Way It Is." And naturally, that brings us to our fourth reason for celebrating today. We are here to acknowledge a great and good man, Mr. Walter Cronkite. Where to begin? I guess at the beginning. Walter Leland Cronkite, Jr. was born on November 4th, 1916 in St. Joseph, Missouri. As a teenager, his family moved to Houston, where he began working for the Houston Post. He ultimately came to the University of Texas at Austin, where he studied political science, economics, and journalism, and worked for the Daily Texan. Housed in the building to your right, the Hearst Student Media Building. From 1962 to 1981, Walter was anchorman and managing editor for the CBS Evening News, where he guided late 20th century viewers through a bewildering series of national triumphs and tragedies. One cannot think of the Vietnam War, the Civil Rights Movement, the Women's Movement, the space program, or American politics without thinking of Walter Cronkite. This college lost a great supporter when Walter passed away on July 17, 2009, in New York at the age of 92. I lost a friend that evening as well. It turns out that Walter and I talked together, at least for a while. It was a magical while. Our duet occurred in 1988 when Walter came to Austin for 2 weeks to co-teach an intensive honors seminar with me. To prepare for that auspicious occasion, I assembled a great deal of Cronkite video coverage with the help of CBS New York, and the 30 honors students prepared for the seminar by trying to figure out what happened in the U.S. before they were born. Then Walter arrived. Patient, provocative, gracious, funny, inspiring. During the class, I would show 5 minutes of video, and then Walter would reminisce, and then the students would ask questions. We did this in a series of 3-hour sessions with only an occasional break. During the breaks, Walter usually went to the restroom, but he never went alone. He never went alone. They trailed around him like little ducklings. His dear wife, Betsy, often attended the seminar as well, and when she went to powder her nose, she found a phalanx of co-eds beside her. Walter never refused to answer a question in class and never cut short a too florid student. He ate pizza and drank beer as if he were still an undergraduate, and he managed to fashion himself into a living icon for 30 impressible and impressed students. Even today, I hear from students from that class who inevitably recall their special time with Cronkite. People call Walter the most trusted man in America. My students called him teacher. And that is one of the many reasons we are dedicating this plaza to Walter Cronkite. During his lifetime, Walter caused the American people to rally round because he spoke the truth during times when truth was hard to find. We rally round him once again today. We're proud that he is a graduate of our college, and we're also proud that UT's second in command, our provost, Steve Leslie, is with us today, for Walter was also a great student and lover of this university. Steve has been a wonderful friend to this college. None of the good things that have happened to us during the last 5 years would have happened if it weren't for him. It's a pleasure to present to you my friend and your provost, Dr. Steve Leslie.